Hey everyone, this is Lee from 3B Outdoors, and you are listening to the Tracks and Tackle Podcast.
Welcome back to Tracks and Tackle, where we share stories from the great outdoors and with the folks who live for it. Today's episode is going to be a special one, folks. We're celebrating a big milestone, 10 years of the 3B Outdoor Club. That's a decade of early mornings, muddy boots, shared campfires, and unforgettable adventures. And to help us honor that journey, we've got a real treat for you. The original trio that started that club, Buchman, Bolner, and Blaylock, are all on the show today. These aren't just three outdoor enthusiasts, they're the heart and soul of what 3B has become. So grab a cup, settle in, join us as we look back on the wild ride, the good times, and the roots of a brotherhood that's still going strong. Hey folks, welcome back to Tracks and Tackle. This is Ron, the Arrow Eagle, and we got a full house again tonight. Thanks for joining us. We got the original founding members of the 3B Outdoor Club, and tonight we are celebrating their 10-year anniversary. It's been a decade. So, Chris, how about a call on you? Tell me a little bit about what this means to you.
It's crazy that it's been 10 years. We used to work with these knuckleheads and started hanging out, talking about stuff, and just crazy how time flies. So, thanks a lot for having us on, Ron. I know I'm on here a little bit, running my mouth usually, but thanks for having us because gives me a chance to talk and see these guys. So, thanks a lot.
Yeah, why don't you introduce who we got with us? I know that Lee's been on before, but Mr. Blaylock, this is your inaugural event here with the Tracks and Tackle team.
Yeah, so I got Lee, co-founder of Lee, and one of the original OGs, one of the original Bs, Gary Blaylock, dude. So, Locke, give us your bio, man. Tell us what's up, how you got into hunting, and tell us some stories, dude.
Well, I had the unfortunate pleasure of meeting you both in prison. Chris tried to take my commissary from me one time, and Lee protected me from Chris, and I kid, but no, that's where we met. We all met at the sheriff's office there in Carroll County, and I honestly surprised that the whole thing, like when it all started and took place, and didn't really know how far everything was going to go with this. And now here we are 10 years later, after decals and flags and hunts set up, and I mean it's pretty cool, like to see where Chris makes. I mean, and kudos to Chris and Lee, like you guys have done so much. I mean, I can't really take credit for any of this stuff. I'm just gracious enough to be included, really. You know what I mean? So, I honestly can't thank you enough for even, for having me on and, keeping me on throughout all this stuff. So, I mean, like I said, I haven't really contributed enough, I would say. So, but you guys are awesome. I mean, you guys know, I mean, you can call on me whenever, and I always try to be around and stuff like that as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I will say, one story that comes to mind first of all is when we did the goose hunt down there at the farm there in Westminster, and I meet you at your house, and I show up, and I had on the makeup from Animal, because we were joking about like, I don't know, I guess doing makeup for like Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors or whatever. Here I show up, I'm all painted up on my face, and Chris has nothing on at all. And Chris, he's laughing at me like I'm crazy. So he's like, "Oh, I gotta stop for ammo too at Walmart or whatever we stop for." Of course, here I am bebopping through Walmart, full camo, and face paint from WWE wrestling, Hulk, and that's got to be one of the funniest days I've had.
Yeah. I had said, Ron,
that was
I said we were going to go goose hunting, Ron, and I said, let's get some face paint our faces up. And he goes, yeah, like the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. I said, yes, absolutely.
Just like that.
Yeah, and actually, I was going to do it when we got there. He shows up to my house, full regalia, like
ready to roll.
Yeah. I got a picture we'll post for this and stuff. But yeah, that was funny.
Awesome. That's awesome because it's like, we talk about memories and the importance of tradition and that sort of stuff, but that's the stuff that builds bonds.
Yeah.
Because you got a story to tell.
Yeah. Locke, tell us about your hunting background, how you grew up with it and how you have that heritage and how you pass that on with your daughter.
Oh, man, just stomping around in Carroll County. Grew up in Carroll County, Manchester area. Always hunted down at my dad's and then my uncle's place. So both in Carroll County, coming up as a kid, went out with my dad, did more fishing than anything else with my dad. I did more hunting with my buddies down there. My buddy and his dad kind of got me into hunting. And so that was when I first started deer hunting, actually, was with them. I learned how to shoot a bow. My dad taught me how to shoot a bow and everything. I would never forget. First bow I ever shot, no sights. It was a compound bow, but to this day, I call it barely a compound bow. Yeah. And, I just remember shooting at pie plates, you know what I mean? Just learning how to shoot the bow and stuff like that. And then guns were always part of my upbringing. Like, I've always had a gun in my hand pretty much, like, my whole life. But, we've done, everything from squirrel hunting and rabbits to deer, turkey, all that stuff down there. Carroll County is a hotbed for a lot of different, games. So it's kind of nice down there.
Yeah.
But, a lot of fishing. I pretty much lived on Pretty Boy Reservoir down there. I could navigate that lake and tell you where everything is like the back of my hand. But, that was with my dad. So, but yeah, we still go down there to this day. I go with my dad still down there and fish. And it's a lot of fun. The lunker you see in my here, I'll turn off my camera here. This lunker right here that you see, that was like the biggest fish of the day at the pond near my house. I'm not bragging or anything, guys, but that's what happened.
It's nothing to write home about. Yeah.
People are going to pound your door down to see where you caught that. So just FYI. Okay.
There's a spy in the background to see where the spot is.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking. I was just thinking. I want to cut in here because as you were talking about growing up and learning to shoot a bow and stuff, shooting at pie plates, and look, when I was young, it just made me think of like when I was young, we hunted anything we could hunt. And we just wanted to shoot guns, shoot bows. We used to shoot bows. We take a deck of cards, and on the target, we put face cards and different numbers and stuff. And if you can hit a playing card, then you're doing all right, But we would, call your shot, just like shooting pool, that sort of stuff.
That's cool.
So it's awesome because you take every chance you can get to shoot, to hunt, to fish, to get out there and do it. And that's sort of how it gets into your blood, gets into your DNA, I believe.
Locke, you did that. What was that thing you did for a little while?
Oh, I was in a 3D league for quite a while there. I did that for, probably, almost 10 years or so. I was in that league. That was fun. And so we had the guys that were in the league that won every year. It was a 2-man league. I had a partner, and the guys that won every year were these guys that always had target bows. So they had the big, long stabilizers, out of the front of the bow. Yep. And here I am with my hunting bow, and we kept up with them pretty well. We were actually third a bunch of years, but we lost to two teams that had those target bows. So, I was like, if we're going to lose to those guys, I'm fine with that, with hunting bows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was good with it. So
Professional shooters.
Blaylock was
that's it.
he was our inaugural, and Lee couldn't make it because he had to work, but Blaylock did our very first pheasant hunt that we've now done every year for the last 7-8 years. And talk about how
got
fun
them
that
mounted
was,
on
man.
my wall.
Yeah. How fun was that day, dude?
That was a blast.
Just
That
not
was a
knowing
lot of fun.
what it
That
was
was
going to be.
Yeah,
definitely
the uncertainty of the whole thing.
I thought you shot
What's
Martin's
that?
dog. I thought you shot Martin's dog. At
No.
the end.
I waited just long enough for that bird to get up in the air.
Yeah.
Because it was funny because when I hit that cockbird, I heard you go, man, that should have been like a picture or something.
It's still to this
At the
day.
same time, I'm like,
It's still to this day burnt into my head. This guy's got a chocolate Chesapeake lab, and he flushes his bird, and he's nipping at the tail feathers. And from where I was, it looked horrible. But Blaylock had a good, safe shot. But from where I was, it looked like the bird was right here, and I just see it get wasted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you just shot this guy's dog or whatever like that, burnt into my head. So
Why don't we take a minute? All right. So, cause like, I know you guys, and, the 3 or 4 people that listen to this show know who you guys are, but why don't one of you guys talk about 3B, who you are, and, what the club's about? Why don't we take a step back before we get into too many stories?
yeah, you want to do that, Lee?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it started with, again, the 3 of us working together and always getting together and sharing stories and talking about hunts that we had, getting together and talking about, upcoming seasons, little tips, stuff like that. And Chris was like, why don't we just balloon this into social media? I'm sure we can network out and, meet different people and share stories and, bring back the old hunt clubs that we all grew up with. Chris grew up with his dad and his brothers. I had it with my brother and my dad on the Eastern Shore. So we wanted to kind of bring back that old homey feeling of a hunt camp and sharing stories. And that's literally where it started. And here's where we are now. We've done different classes with WIAC, which we've talked about at Mayberry Gun Club, talking about waterfowl hunting and stuff. And it's ballooned. We've had dinners now. We do our annual pheasant hunt with a bunch of friends that we don't get to see very often. So where it started to where it's became has been very exciting to see the growth, and to be part of it it's honestly a blessing. It's been great.
It's opened doors for a lot of stuff again, even just meeting you, Ron, and then being able to be on podcasts and teach kids and children and have these dinners and people show up and bring their kids, and then do the hunt, like the pheasant hunt that we've done, and just getting together and laughing. And even though we don't get to see each other, I can text Locke or I can text Lee a funny story, and we laugh about the pheasants or we laugh about this. And, we started off, we were going to make videos and we're going to sell merch. And, I say this all the time, but we're going to be the next bone collector. We're all funny. Our girlfriends and wives think we're funny. And, we quickly, just that's not what we wanted to do. And, we've made so many just lasting friendships. And it's just cool now, man. And I've said this before, and I'm not just saying this because Blaylock is on here, but like last year he came back with us and did the pheasant hunt again. And if you don't mind me telling the story, Locke, I mean, your 18-year-old daughter, she's 18 now, right? And she was able to come with us. And she shot a pheasant. So to me, selfishly, it was really cool that I was able to give him this really cool first with his daughter, because how many more firsts are you going to have with her?
Right.
So to me, that was like special. I was up on the hill with you when it happened, and we're all high-fiving and laughing, and it was just a cool moment. That was just the culmination of what all of this to me is about. I mean, it really is,
I mean, the same thing could be said. Like, I've been there for you multiple times, Chris, when you know your boys have had their first pheasant, their first goose, their first greenhead, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, this year coming up is going to be Ethan's first, my son's first hunting season. So I'm sure you'll be around for some of his firsts.
Yeah.
So it's just that networking between friends that's, you know, has made this what it is today.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And like I said, we can text each other anytime. I don't work with these guys anymore. Life gets in the way, but I text them and message them, send them funny videos. You know, they're right there. Hey, I'm taking a long drive. I'll call one of them. You know, and that to me is what, you know, 10 years is all about, really. It's just, you know, bringing it home like that. So.
Well, it's awesome when you have stories, right? So you make the memories, you do the stuff together, you build the friendships, and even though time marches on, you still get that, you know, you can reach out at any time and you have that connection point, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where there are a lot of guys like us that have that core group of guys they fish with, guys that they hunt with, guys they work with, you know, whatever. And, you know, just building that core group. And then what's rare is inviting other people into it. Because when you have that special tight knit group, it's like, man, I don't want to share this with just everybody. Yeah. But what you guys did was you said, hey, you know, we've tasted something, that hunt camp feeling, and we want to share that. Yeah. And so you've sort of invited other people to come in and experience that too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the rewarding part for me, more than trying to make money and sell shirts and I don't have anything wrong with that. If that's what people want to do, that's cool, man. Do your thing. But to me, just meeting people again, you know, having the kids out there. Lee and I started the first Drake Hunt Club where people get their first birds with us and they get stickers and pictures and stuff like that. So that's cool, man. You know, again, I grew up with my dad, like Lee said, and hunting, and I've told these stories before, but I never had like the camp feel. You know, it was deer hunting. There's your tree stand. I'll see you at dark. Don't make a noise. Pee in a bottle. Yeah. You know, don't get down. You know, so to have like the duck hunting and the pheasant hunting and the small game, and just this camaraderie again, where we can text and call each other anytime and laugh. I mean, nobody could give me enough money for that. There's just nothing I would trade that for.
So what does that mean to you guys? You know, when Chris says the camaraderie, you know, what does that mean to you, Gary and Lee?
Well, I think the biggest thing is
ultimately.
Good luck.
Go ahead, Lee. No, I'm good, man. Go ahead.
Ultimately, it's the camaraderie is now like a family. You know, in the 10 years, my son has been born. He'll be 8 this year. My daughter will be 5 this year. So, you know, these guys have seen my kids grow up. I've watched, you know, Chris's kids grow up and stuff. So it's become a tight-knit family at this point. And we've seen a lot of ups and downs with each other. We've been there through ups and downs, you know, personally. And we've been there through thick and thin when it comes to, you know, working at the jail when we work together. Now we're separated, but yeah, that's to me what it is. It's the family, the tight knit that we are and that we became, and I hope we'll continue for years to come. I'm hoping my kids will get with Chris's and Locke's kids, and they'll all be doing this 10, 15 years from now. You know, once we're old and they're running the show.
I mean, my kids call him Uncle Lee. His kids call me, Uncle Chris. I mean, we hang out. You know, we do these dinners and birthday parties and. You know, that's what's about. Lee or let Locke, you need to have another kid. That's what you need to do. Join the club and have a little.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that.
All right, so hit me with some funny stories. You guys started off, you know, you're strong out the gate, and I know that I put the brakes. I said, "Pump, let's go step it back here." But now that the audience knows who you are, and got a little taste of your bios and what 3B is all about. Tell me some tales. I mean, every good hunting club, every good hunting group, you know, you got stories and you tell them, you know, if somebody's going to tell a story about me, they could probably tell it better than I could tell it myself about myself. It's usually you're telling a story on your buddy.
I'm going to listen. I got a funny one about Lee. Uh, we were goose hunting one time, and Lee had to go to the bathroom.
I knew you were going there with this one.
And he had these old neoprene waders on. We actually called them his LuLaRoe waders because they were tight.
All right.
Skin tight.
Yeah,
Painted on.
they were. I mean, they were snug. And we're in the blind or whatever, and we're about where we're hunting at 600, 700, 800 yards away from a road, big open pasture, trees, cover, and he goes to do what nature is calling him to do, and sun's starting to come up a little bit. Well, he walked a little ways, and as he is dropping trowel, a school bus stops, just in full view of him bent over in the bushes. So he might be on a registry somewhere. I don't know.
It probably is.
Well, let's add that about 15 minutes later, a county sheriff stopped and sat at the exact same spot that the bus was sat at earlier. So I'm afraid they're waiting for me to write me a ticket for indecent exposure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the type of stories that you don't tell on yourself, but that's why you get good buddies and they'll tell those stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we told the funny one with Locke and us goose hunting. And we did go to Walmart, and he did walk around Walmart like the Legion of Doom. And, that was just a fun day. Just we had never goose hunted in a field like that. Guys that we talk about took us out. And I don't think we ended up even seeing anything, but we laughed that whole time. Like to the point I think we were going to pay him for helping us and taking us all the decoys out. We're like, dude, thank you. Like, this is the most fun we've had. Just laughing here, So, well, you got some funny stories, Lee. Tell some funny stories.
Well, I think we mentioned this one last time that me and you talked, or we were on here, when you shot I don't know, was it your first black duck or was one of your first black ducks at Assateague there with Dad at the handicap blind?
Mm-hmm.
And he had crippled the duck. The duck hit the water. And me excited for him to shoot this duck, I throw my gun at him. I'm like, "You've already shot your shells. Take my gun. It's full." So he goes down, and I've got pictures of it. He ended up 500-600 yards out in the water chasing this bird. And little did I realize in the excitement that I have a 20 gauge. He has a 12 gauge. So he shot the 3 shells of 20 gauge, and then he had no more shells on him. The only shells he had on his wader was for the 12 gauge. Yeah. So he had to use the gun as pretty much a paddle and beat the crap out of this duck and chase this duck.
So, yes, that wasn't my first black duck. I had killed a big bull drake, and that was a hen that was with it. And I'm like, I'm getting a pair. I'm going to get them mounted. I'm getting a pair. And the wind was blowing opposite. They're tough. Is going out, and if you've been to Assateague in the bay, you can walk out forever, and it's 3 or 4 foot deep. So I finally get this thing. I turn around; they are like specks, and I hear them like wah, 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 like waving at me, and I'm like, okay. Now I got to walk back against the current, against the wind. I'm trying to do the old adage where I'm trying to drown this duck because I didn't have my finisher on me. I took the wrong gun. I'm holding it underwater. It's not dying. It's bleeding everywhere. What Lee was trying to tell me, though, this is a true story, is that was the time they were tracking a tiger shark, I believe, that was through there, and I'm dragging this bloody carcass through water.
You're chumming the shark.
That was the same time that Stacy Lee great white shark was on the coast of Ocean City, and at the same time that they tagged this Stacy Lee, they had tagged a tiger shark. And it was cruising the back bays of Assateague. And I'm trying to tell him that they had just pinged it several hours ago about where he is out in the water. And he couldn't hear a word we were saying. It was hilarious. We got a big laugh out of that morning.
Yeah. I remember.
I almost not want to know, if you're out there that far, like, just don't tell me. What I don't know won't hurt me.
Yeah. I mean, I remember this, Locke, too, when we did that first pheasant hunt. And we had no clue. And we kind of hinted at this, when we first started doing it. The guy told us he had pheasants. I got the property. Take them out. We'll let them go. And we can flush them out in the CRP grass down there. I mean, two things happened. Remember the very first one? Do you remember the very first pheasant lock? Like we walked up
Yes,
and it flew up and we just stared at it.
it was gone.
Yeah.
And then,
And then,
do you remember the hawk? Do you remember the hawk that came out of nowhere and like chased it across the sky?
yeah, this bird flew up, flew backwards. We just watched it like a bunch of dumb A's. And this hawk just sees it go into a tree like, hey, look at that giant free pizza and this guy's going to get it.
Yeah,
I feel like that's happened every year.
Yes. There's the eagle got it. And then we've gone down there a couple times. He released a really pretty bird that flew into the adjacent farm's yard. And this guy's black lab is chasing this rooster around the yard.
Yeah.
We never got that one. But remember, we got some birds that day. We had a lot of success. I actually have one of the framed pictures over there hanging up. But I remember we talked like little girls the whole way home about we're getting them mounted and this is what we're doing. Like it was like, I don't know if you remember any of that. It was like the most fun just driving home talking about just reliving it. You know, I mean, that's what it's about to me.
I couldn't wait to get those birds mounted.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain kind of energy that comes with a good hunt. You know, after the hunt, right? Yeah. When you're reliving the experience with your pals, yeah. There's an electricity, there's an energy, there's a giddiness, especially when it's successful. Because look, you can have a good hunt and not be successful, but when you go out and you have success and your buddies have success, man, there's something about it.
Yeah,
I mean, we've done we didn't do it this year because of schedules and stuff, but we've done an Aztec duck hunt 4 or 5 years in a row now. Mm-hmm. And there's times where we come home empty-handed, but I mean, we are laughing and joking the whole way home, just living it up. I mean, it's just to get away, to be away from work, to be away from the hustle and bustle of life, and to just get together and joke around. I mean, there's so many inside jokes that can be said, driving 3.5 hours, to Ocean City and back. So.
Yeah, I remember laughing. My oldest boy goes with us, but I think we had the most fun at Cracker Barrel, just laughing and cutting up and just being guys, But to get back to you, Locke, tell us about like the camaraderie and the brotherhood. Whether it's with us or just your family. Tell us what that means to you, dude.
Oh, it's to me, it's everything. Honestly, like with whether it's getting together with you guys, whether it's getting together with the guys I hunt with up here in Pennsylvania from time to time, or, getting a line wet somewhere with, I'll fish with anybody. I don't really care who I fish with, honestly. I'll fish with anybody. I'll take anybody fishing. But it's just going out and just, to me, there's nothing like nothing. And I mean nothing like when you're out in the woods, you get out there and it's pitch black. You get out in your stand, and when everything starts to just come to life, and everything around you literally just starts waking up. There's nothing like that. And to give that experience to someone else, and then they have that same appreciation is awesome. And it's the same thing on the water. Like you get out on the water and it's like, wow, you know what I mean? And you're just catching fish after fish in the morning. And there's that like mist, that cloud along the top of the water, and I love it. Like there's nothing like it. It'll take a bad day and just, crush it. Like, you just forget everything in life completely. It's just gone.
It's a therapeutic reset.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember, all three of we had all worked at night, midnight shifts for a good amount of time. And I remember leaving at night, and going to hunt or going just to be out fishing or whatever. And you could have had the crappiest night, roughest night, longest night, whatever. And as soon as you're on the water, as soon as you're in the woods, it's like, whew, it just washes away. You can't beat it. So
we had a bunch of those long nights, didn't we?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. What about moving forward? Like, what do you guys have for like individual goals for hunting and just getting out there, sharing it with your families? What do you got, Locke? And I'll go to you, Lee.
I honestly really want to go. I want to go on an elk hunt Like that's my next venture. Like I don't know where I want to go yet. I'm thinking Montana right now, so not 100% sure yet. But that's kind of where I got the the pin on the map. But that's my next big venture. I want to take my daughter with me, and so that's been fun. I've actually been getting into a moose lottery from Maine every year, so that's kind of nice.
You
But
gonna take your
you put in for a tag. Yeah, I can. No, I'm actually. I mean, this is craziness. I have some story. I have a buddy who went up there. He actually won. He was putting in for the tag, and then he finally won. He was drawn. His ticket was drawn, so to speak. And you're allowed to take people with you. You can take one or two people with you. And he said it was a pretty wild experience up there. I mean, they killed an 800-pound moose, and had to get a tow truck to get it off the mountain.
Oh,
So
Yeah, they're huge. They get big.
cool.
yeah, it was wild. Like, oh, the story was wild. I'll tell you right now, I tasted that. That moose meat is probably the best game meat I've ever eaten.
Really good. That's cool.
I think it's above elk personally.
Really.
Yeah,
I had
absolutely.
I had it when I was a little kid. My grandfather killed one in Wyoming when I was a real little kid, and
Yeah.
I don't remember much of it. Just again being a kid, I probably didn't like it that much, but I'd like to try it again.
Yeah.
But you got going
Well,
on,
while
man.
we're on this,
Oh, sorry,
hey,
go
while
ahead.
we're on this, real quick, hey, real quick, at some point, I do have I have a line on a fly-in up in Canada, and it's the price is reasonable. I have some friends that already did it, and I thought, you know what, it would be a cool 3B trip.
I'm in.
Everybody's nodding their
That's
head.
on my bucket list.
Yeah. What do you got, Lee? What's up with you, man? What you trying to do?
So last time I was on, I said that I wanted to try a couple new things this year. It's not that hunting's gotten stale for me, but it's just I've killed my share of deer, I've killed my share of ducks, so I kind of want to do something new. So I talked about wanting to get into the kayak hunting stuff. But I think this year the biggest thing is getting my son in the woods. I've done my fair share of hunting. I want to live through him and his happiness and his joy and his heartbreaks and stuff, and get him in the woods hot and heavy this year, and hopefully get him his first deer. I got my wife her first buck 2 years ago, and she got another buck last year, so it's now his turn. So I'm pretty focused on that. I've been tuning the bow up, helping him get the fundamentals of a crossbow, and we got him a 350 Legend for rifle hunting. So, going off of Garrett's, our friend Garrett's expertise on, getting his daughters into hunting, that's just where I've been doing a lot of research and trying to figure out the easiest ways to go about this. I know it's stressful as the parent to be behind the kid and stuff, but I think at this point in my life, I just want to live through him and see where he goes and see how he does. So I think that's what this year is going to bring mostly for me.
That's cool. I asked Ron this the other week, but I know you might have just answered it a little bit, but money's not an issue. You can go anywhere you want, do something. Where are you going and what are you doing?
Alaska. I want to kill king eiders in Alaska on the Bering Sea.
Oh, man, that'd be cool. But you, Loctimus.
Well, I will say this. I've been inspired by, I don't know, do you guys remember Fred Eichler on the Black Death Hunt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'd like to do one of those.
That'd be cool. Yeah, mine's lame. I just want to go fishing in Montana. But for the reason that, like you just said, Locke, just go up there and, and just stand in the water and just walk, just be up there.
Oh my gosh.
Immerse yourself. Yeah. Immerse yourself in that atmosphere, that environment.
Yeah. Because I'm almost, and again, like you, Lee, I'm not trying to brag, but, I've had fun. I've accomplished a lot of what I wanted in the woods. I'm with my kids now doing it. And I just like hanging out, man. And I think it'd be cool just to go up there and reset and just stand in the water and, I don't know. I think it'd be rad. Montana, Wyoming, something like that out there.
If you think about it, I mean, if you think about like the layout of North America, we do have a little bit of everything here, right? I mean, we've got coastlines, we got wetlands, we got beaches, we've got mountains, we got plains, we've got, we're up in close to the Arctic. We've got a little bit of everything, and so like for a Midwest guy to sit and listen to us talk about, hunting ducks on the bay or, mountain hunting whitetails, it's completely different than us, sitting here listening to some guy out in the Midwest hunting bighorn sheep or, whatever the game or the animal is. I think that's what's really cool is because you can go anywhere and experience a different hunt based on what you're after. And it's almost like it's not limitless, but we've got a lot of options on the menu here in North America, just in this area without going abroad.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went to Massachusetts, 2 years ago. And I mean, that's only a 6-7 hour drive for us. And it was a completely different way of life up there. The way they did things, they went about things, the way they
pack the cat.
Do what?
Did you pack the cat while you were up there?
Yeah.
You had some chowder, didn't you?
I had some chowder. That's right.
Chowder.
But I mean, like you said, Ron, I mean, a 6-hour drive can change everything when it comes to hunting. We are, you nailed it right on the head. We are very lucky living in the United States to have, I mean, pretty much everything, and to be free and to be able to go and do all this hunting and stuff. So it's a great thing.
I just got back from the Outer Banks, North Carolina there, and that's a 5.5-6 hour drive, and they're catching tuna from the shore. They're catching tuna fish from the shore and the pier down there. And I mean, it doesn't feel like it's that far away, but like you just said, that's a really cool change of scenery, fun drive.
Been surf fishing a bunch of times. I love it down there.
Oh, that's where I want to be, man. If I could retire tomorrow, I'm me and my wife. I looked at jobs down there this last time.
Did you really?
I did. I'm too far in. I'm not saying this to brag, but it's a vastly different pay scale.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's not where I want to be right yet. So with pay, and I'm on the single digits till I can retire now. So we'll get there.
Yeah, well enough along. Well, listen, guys, it's 10 years. All right, this is kind of a big deal, and you guys like downplay it, like, oh well, but don't. I mean, it's like humble beginnings. You hang out with your buddies. I mean, I just think about what we do here with the show and what I do with my group, with Mentor Outdoors, and all the different clubs that we've got to meet through interacting with one another. There are a lot of guys like us that have that core group. I think I mentioned before where they're just like, hey man, like let's form a group. It's like it's us four and no more. And the thing that I like about 3B, like when I met Chris originally, was he's like, man, we're just all about like getting to know other people and the network and that sort of stuff. And I got to meet Lee, and Lee shared his knowledge. Like there's always somebody out there who knows more about something than you do, and you guys have been awesome at, sort of just like allowing me to come alongside. I've seen you model it with other groups where, if you want to be part of the club, man, come on in, it's the door's open. And that's rare, because most guys are like, you got to get an invite to be part of the good old boys.
Yeah,
you got to get somebody's got to vouch for you, and certainly that there's a level of that as well. You don't let just anybody associate with your name, but I just think that's really cool. 10 years is a long time. It's been a marathon, not a sprint for you.
Yeah.
And I imagine that means something.
Yeah, it means a lot. And I think that just kind of hit me a couple months ago. I think I texted these guys, hey, we started as this thing and then it turned into 3B and it's been 10 years. I appreciate you saying those kind of words, Ron, but it is rare now. So inspires us to do it. That's why I want to do it, because again, I wouldn't have gotten into duck hunting if it wasn't for Lee and some of these guys that got me into it, And then I said, the guy that got us into the pheasant hunt, he said, hey, you guys have this, let's go try it out. So that it's just inspiring to do that, because there is so many closed doors with people's properties, and there are good spots. Fishing, this is my honey hole, Nobody wants to catch a small fish. They all want to catch the monsters that Locke's putting at his avatar,
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bending branches out there, with that guy, But yeah, so it's been a fun ride, man, and it's sad that we're getting older. When you brought your daughter down the farm the other day, I remember her being like 10 years old. I mean, I still in my mind. And when she said, I'm 18, and she was talking about getting tattoos, I'm like, get out of here. Who are you?
Oh, yeah, man. It went by quick. I remember, when she was born, I was working down there at the sheriff's office with you guys. And I'm not sure if Lee had started yet or not, but when she was born down there, I remember everybody, giving me, baby gifts and whatnot. You know what I mean? It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. It was good. It does go by fast, man. It goes so fast.
It's ridiculous.
But I like to say our 10-year anniversary was just a couple of days ago, because I just turned 50 on the 21st. So I like to say, 10 years was on the 21st, wasn't it?
Hey, we can make it that way, dude. Yeah, I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit, but it was just cool. I'm going to take a detour from that. It was cool to me seeing you hang out with your daughter that day too, and us laughing and cooking out, and just everybody smiling. I mean, that to me is what the whole journey's about. I'm trying to stay humble with it, but looking around at what we built, I had my cousins there, and my sons and nephew was there. This was a big hunt. We did a big hunt this year, and it was just cool. And then you look back through the field and everyone's laughing and cutting up at each other and people talking. And, my dad's friends with Goldhammer's dad that hunts with us now. So they look forward. That's when they see each other. They're the old man dads, out there laughing at us young bucks missing when these birds scare us, And so, you just can't beat it. And at the time that we have together, the time in the woods, you just can't. There's nothing, again, in the world that I would trade any of that for. I really wouldn't.
So here's what I want to do. I want to go around the ring. We'll start with you, Gary, and then Lee, and then Chris. You can wrap it. But if you had one piece of advice that you wanted to, give out to that next generation, you all got kids now, and you have somebody that's young or not even young, with somebody that's new to the outdoors. They got a taste of it. They like it. They want to learn more. What would your piece of advice be to them?
Oh, man, that's a deep question. I mean, I will say, I've told my daughter, and she kind of is like, Dad, you're a broken record with this. But I always tell her, enjoy the small things while you're out there, whether it's like that weird looking bug that you see crawling on your leg, something like that, or
right.
anything new while you're out. Just absorb all that and appreciate the fact that, God's creation is here for all of us to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And just don't ever let that go. You know what I mean? Like that's the biggest thing for me, is like just, appreciating what God's given us. And ultimately just make memories, learn everything you want to learn, like do everything you want to do however you can do it. Like Chris was saying, he'd have never gotten into duck hunting if he hadn't met Lee, and wouldn't have fell in love with it if he hadn't met Lee. I mean, and he was at an older age. I mean, so I'd say continue with things like that too. Get to know people, get invited, go along with people, and just try some different stuff, and just, always have fun and, just hone your craft.
Love it. Love it. Lee?
I wholeheartedly agree with Locke there. I think the biggest thing that I'm trying to, set forth with my son is don't sweat the small stuff. We all make mistakes. We've all, I've blown my shot at some big deer. I've, screwed up on a turkey, missed ducks, stuff like that. That, to me, that's, at the end of the day, that's what makes the hunt. The missed opportunities is what you actually look back on more than the trophy hanging up on the wall. So, I'm trying to instill into him to just enjoy the time you have out there, enjoy the time with the people that you spend it with, because you might not be able to spend it with them, forever. And you just build those memories, because those memories is what carries you through in life. We've all sitting here, all four of us have memories of somebody or of something that, is cherished to them. So build those memories, hold on to them, and share them with others, and hopefully get more people into hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So true. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. I would say three things. One, just go do it. Just do it. You want to duck hunt, go duck hunt. I've been saying for years, and I tease you guys about it, and I give myself a hard time. There's turkeys on my property. I'm going turkey hunting every year. I never do. Just go do it. Second, ask questions. Find out who does this. How do you do this? There's things that I feel like I'm pretty good at, but I'm still going to ask Lee, hey, what's your thoughts on this? Lee's hunted different places. For example, Lee calls a lot and doesn't set a lot of decoys up when we duck hunt. The other guy that we hunt with is the opposite. He does not call, and he sets about as many decoys as you can fit in the back of the truck is going to go. So find out what's going on. What's your take on this? Ask questions. And then, to kind of echo what you guys said too, like take pictures, man. Take pictures, do photo albums, keep the memories alive. Everybody, like Lee just said, has had people that have passed on, and you just want to keep that stuff, man. I hold on. I like the vintage stuff and the traditional stuff, and I like all that stuff anyways, but just to have something that you can hold on to and share the memories. Your kids aren't little forever. Just take the pictures, capture the memories, man. That's what I'm about. So what about you, Ron? What do you got? What's your advice? I'll hit you with it, dog.
Listen, my advice is, I'm with all of you guys. You want to just soak it up. Go out, get outside, get the stink blown off of you, get some fresh air. A successful hunt isn't necessarily killing something or catching something. It's being outside. It's recognizing that, for me, it's like resetting myself. We charge our phone every day. The battery runs down on this thing. Well, we weren't created to be indoors. We were created to be, in touch with, get out, walk in your bare feet, feel the grass, let the sun hit your face, and recharge, and do enjoy it. Like, take it in. Like, I'm echoing what you guys are saying. I know, like, when I was younger, I just, like I said, I wanted to shoot, I wanted to kill, and we've all had our varying levels of success at those things. But the older I've gotten, the more challenging I've tried to make the hunt. How do I go for the game that's a little bit harder than, I'm not going to set myself up. Like, I don't want to shoot ducks in a barrel,
I would.
So anyway, just continue to challenge yourself. I'm talking to duck hunt, the duck guys here, but how do you challenge yourself? Yeah. And a lot of people are faced with opportunities, and you never take the step. You never walk across the threshold. And so what? So what if you don't catch that fish? So what if you don't? Like, a bad day fishing's better than a good day at work.
100%.
Just a hike in the woods. I mean, you might feel it in your muscles, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
So go do it
Yeah.
and enjoy it. So, I mean, that's it for me. I'm all about what you guys are saying. Cherish the moments, make the memories, share them with. Don't keep them to yourself, because it's precious. I put high value on memories.
10 years, man. We're here. 10 years goes by fast, man. So, paint your face like the Legion of Doom. You only live once. You'll know.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Oh, yeah.
What's next for 3B, guys? What do you see in the future?
Just more hanging out, just without sounding like the old man, make yourself get together, make yourself just do it, man. Life gets in the way, like I said, so don't let it slip, man. Try to hang out more and get together. I am trying to plan this year's dinner. It's going to be later. I might do it in the fall or later summer. I might do a cookout and barbecue style. So open invite to whoever's listening, and obviously you guys.
How can people get a hold of you?
3B Outdoors on Instagram, 3B_outdoors_club. That's our main thing. We're on Facebook too. Locke, you don't have any social media anymore, do you?
I am a social media free kind of guy.
Love it.
So,
Love it.
a couple of us on there, man. Obviously on here. We want to hear your stories, man. We want to hear your traditions. We want to hang out. That's where we're at. So 10 years. Thanks, guys.
It's been a blast, especially to get to meet you, Blaylock. These guys tell me stories. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on the show and hanging out with us a little bit tonight.
Thanks, Ron.
I know when you get the gang together, you can sit and tell stories all night. But I think you've whet the appetite of the viewer and the audience here. One of the things that you guys said was it's like family. And that's what we do here. We've created a hunting family that comes together, tells stories. And I know the people that are tuning in and listening to us share stories and stuff get a kick out of hearing those firsthand stuff, because we've experienced it. We can relate to it. So hearing somebody else tell their stories is pretty sweet too. Yeah. So check them out, guys. 3B Outdoors. 10-year anniversary. Congrats, guys. Hats off to you all. And stick around. We'll have you on again for sure.
Thanks, man. Sounds awesome.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, watching the show. And as we always want to remind you to get outdoors. Nature is our playground. And always stay wild.
See you guys. Thanks, man.